Good morning everyone. A very warm welcome to each and every one of you in today's GK class. Okay, as we have discussed earlier also that your UT test is over and now it is time for the results, and I hope that you are going to give your best and your results as well. Is that clear? I hope the paper was not very much tough enough, and I hope most of you are going to get full marks, because what I remember is that the current affairs also, which I told you, they were there from that portion only. They were not coming from some other things which were apart or which were not told to you. Is that clear? So since we are getting this class after a long time, and if you see or compare the syllabus with other classes, that is class 6th as well as class 8, we have missed 2 to 3 classes here. So without wasting any time, let us move ahead with the syllabus. But before going ahead, I would like to inform you one thing, that is, I would like to apologize for not able to answer your queries on that day, that is on your GK exam day, that was on 18th. Is that clear? My phone got damaged around 12 or 1 o'clock as soon as your query window opened, okay, due to which I was not able to answer your queries. So I request you that whatever queries are there, whatever questions are there, whatever your doubts are there, please share it today in the query window, so that I'll be able to clear your doubts and you will also be able to have your clear vision regarding your GK exams. Is that clear? So before, let us not waste our time a lot. Let us start with the class today. Okay, as we all know that this GK again, world of possibilities, and I'll be sharing you a short incident of the same if time permits, because already we are lacking behind with the syllabus now. Okay, so let us start with the class. Let me share the screen with you first. Okay, starting with this one, this is your space quiz that is related to your science. Okay, and here what we are going to do, that is against the following statements we have to write true or false. Okay, Mercury is only slightly larger than Earth's moon in size. That is completely true. Just like on Earth, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west on Venus. This is false. If you remember, it is just completely opposite. Sun rises in the east on Earth, but sun sets in the east on Venus, whereas it rises in the west on Venus. Okay, like Earth, Mars also has seasons because of tilted axis. Completely agree with this. That is, it is also true. The iconic great red spot on Jupiter is a giant crater created by volcanic eruptions. That is completely false. Saturn is the farthest planet from the Earth, observable without a telescope. True. Uranus takes about 84 Earth years to revolve around the Sun. True. Neptune's wind can be 9 times stronger than Earth's. Completely true. Pluto, the dwarf planet, has no moons. False. Okay, now what is the meaning here of the last statement? No moons. Okay, moons are basically the natural satellites of the planets. I hope whether you know or not, satellites are of two types, that is your natural satellite and artificial satellites. Okay, so natural satellites are those satellites which keep on revolving around the planets, like moon is the natural satellite of Earth, okay, which keeps on revolving around it. Okay, in the same way, there are more than 20 or 15 natural satellites which different planets have, and they keep on revolving around these planets. Okay, but in the case of artificial satellites, which are being basically prepared by the human beings, they are prepared with the aim to have or to develop some kind of information just by sending them into the space or up to certain planet. Is that clear? So that we can study what is the environmental condition, how is the surface of that planet. All these things, they can be studied with the help of that artificial satellites. Okay, next one, if we move ahead, fill in the blanks to complete the information about some well-known constellations. Choose your answers from the help box. Okay, first let me tell you what are constellations, and thereafter we will move ahead with the explanation or the bookish part. Constellations are what? Constellations are the group of stars which form a specific pattern in the sky or in the space, and these patterns which are formed, they generally resemble a kind of animal or a specific pattern, some kind of god, goddess, and this is mythological point of view. That is, each and everyone would not be able to observe this, and this is very rare, or basically what you can see, this is based on the basis of the belief which is being made. Okay, before going ahead, let us first complete this one, and thereafter I'll be showing you some of the constellations, that is your longest and the largest constellations, that is your Pegasus and Hydra. Okay, so starting with the first one, Ursa Major, a constellation in the northern sky, consists of 7 prominent stars and is also known as the Great Bear. Okay, I would like to tell you one more thing, that is in class 8th, that is next year when you will be going to class 8th, you have a chapter which is known as Stars and the Solar System. In this chapter you will be studying about constellations in detail. Next one, the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, belongs to Canis Major, a constellation in the southern sky. One of the largest constellations in the sky, that is your Pegasus, is named after the winged horse in Greek mythology. The brightest star of the constellation Aquila is Altair, which along with 2 other bright stars completes the summer triangle. Okay, the longest constellation in the sky, that is Hydra, is named after many-headed monster in Greek mythology, and it is so long that it takes almost 6 hours to rise. One of the most prominent constellations in the northern hemisphere is Orion, the famous Greek hunter with his sword and belt. Is that clear? Now, before going ahead, I would like to show you the constellations so that you will be able to get a much more clear idea of this thing. Okay, now see, these are the constellations which I was talking about. This is the largest constellation, which is known as Pegasus. This is the normal sky, how they appear, and this is the zoomed part or made artificially to have a much more clear understanding of how the patterns are being formed. All these dots which you are able to see, they are representing the stars, which when you join it with an imaginary line, they form some specific patterns. Okay, in the same way, this is your longest constellation, that is known as Hydra, which we have just now read that it takes around 6 hours to rise. That is, if you can see here also, each and every dot is representing the stars, and we have joined them with the help of a line, a straight line, and due to this is forming a specific pattern. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, so this is how the things have been made in the case of constellations. Okay, now let us come back to our same part, that is here. If we move ahead to the next page, that is music in India. So here we have the Jal Tarang. Fill in the blanks to complete the sentences. Choose your answers from the help box. Okay, now here we will be discussing about some of the most classical instruments as well as some more musical personalities as well. Okay, starting with the very first one, we have the dash, that is the Jal Tarang, is a musical instrument whose name means waves of water, that is pani ki lehre. Jal Tarang, as the name, with the name only you will be able to understand this one. Okay, second one we have Rebab is the name given to an Arab fiddle, which is the earliest known bowed instrument and has commonly 2 or 3 strings. Okay. Next one, the damru is the musical instrument that Lord Shiv is most associated with. So this we are very much familiar, but you will be able to get some new names like Jaltarang, Rebab, Veena also we have seen, Shehnai also, but Alap and all these things we will be able to have some new things here. Okay. Saraswati, Rudra and Vichitra are the types of the Veena, that is the instrument Veena. Ustad Bismillah Khan was a Shehnai maestro. Okay. Alap is the name given to opening notes of North Indian classical music performance through which the singer introduces and develops a rag. Antakshari was the first Indian music reality show. Shubha Mudgal is a well-known singer of Hindustani classical music. She is the lady who is known as Shubha Mudgal. Next, swar means the sound of a single musical note. The tabla is popularly used in Hindustani music performance. Okay, so tabla is also what? Tabla is a very familiar which we all have seen. But if we talk about some of the classical ones like Rebab and Jaltarang, if you have seen, well and good, otherwise please go for it. Okay. In India, there are 2 main categories of classical music: Hindustani classical in North India and Carnatic music in South India. Okay, can you think of 2 ways in which the technology has an impact on the creation of music? Now see, just like if you remember when the prayer is going on or the assembly is going on in the morning, so you are able to find that our music department has a instrument which is known as banjo, I hope, banjo or banjo, something like that. Okay, now that small instrument or big instrument has lots of, it can perform the task of damru also, it can perform the task of tabla also, that is classical, hip hop, whatever things are there. Okay, each and every music can be seen or done with the help of that banjo. So how this Indian, that is, this is what is the meaning of this one, that is technology has combined all these classical instruments into one. Moving ahead with this page, that is your arts and craft. Okay, so here basically when we are talking about crochet, okay, crochet, pottery, macrame, applique, calligraphy, all these are what? These are basically related to your arts and craft, which are well known in this India as well as other parts of world. Okay, origami, kirigami, okay, all these are these matryoshka dolls, if you can see this one. Okay, they are very famous and very classical point of view. You'll be able to find much more work, fine art, which is rarely seen anywhere else. Okay, discuss how machines have taken over the jobs of many traditional artists and suggest 2 ways to preserve traditional arts and craft. Now see, what is happening today is that due to the use of technology, that is when we are basically talking about, let me see the time here. Okay, we have the time. Due to the use of technology, computers, Adobe, Photoshop and various other your painting softwares or your studio softwares, due to them, not this studio but basically your paint and all these things, Corel graphics and all these things, they are performing the task of thousands of workers, or you can say lakhs of workers, as a result of which unemployment is increasing, because you just, designs are there, you just have to give the command and entirely the printing will start. Okay, so here it is what, here we are basically talking about or thinking about this thing only, that how this technology has taken the jobs of traditional workers, the people who are master of doing the works by their hand. If you take the example of this one, okay, these drawings or this one, these all are basically done with the help of hands only, okay. But due to the upcoming of the technology, now no one is hiring these persons, but they are going for the technology, and the jobs of these persons have gone. Moving ahead with this one, that is our great composers. So composers means what? Who used to compose the songs or anything else, okay. Basically here we have the very first one, popularly known as the Mozart of Madras. This well-known composer from Chennai has 2 Oscars, 2 Grammys, a BAFTA and a Golden Globe Award to his credit, that is none other than A.R. Rahman. Though he became deaf in his midlife, that is बीच में ही, लाइफ के बीच में ही वो क्या हो गया, बहरा हो गया, कान से उसे सुनाई नहीं देने लगा. This German composer created some of the most influential pieces of music ever, that is Ludwig van Beethoven, okay. This next one, that is the third one, this famous sitar player and music composer played a key role in popularizing Indian music in the Western world. He won 4 Grammys and Bharat Ratna Award, that is your Ravi Shankar, okay. Next we have this famous musician from Assam sang about humanity and universal brotherhood. He was awarded the Padma Vibhushan posthumously in November 2011, that is your Bhupen Hazarika, okay. Considered to be among the greatest composer ever, this Viennese was a child prodigy. He composed 16 operas, 41 symphonies, 27 piano and 5 violin concertos, that is Wolfgang and Amadeus Mozart, okay. This Indian violinist, composer and music conductor is internationally famous for his techniques of classical Carnatic as well as Western classical music compositions, that is L. Subramaniam, okay. He was a famous composer of the Indian film industry whose nickname was Pancham. In 2030, India Post released a stamp bearing his face to honor him. That was none other but Rahul Dev Burman. Is that clear? If we move ahead to the fact file. So one of the 9 jewels of Emperor Akbar's court was Mia Tansen. His music was so melodious and powerful that it is said he could summon the rains with his rag Megh Malhar and light lamps by singing rag Deepak. That is, ये कहा जाता है and basically belief भी है कि तानसेन ऐसा गाते थे कि उनके में गाने में इतनी पावर थी कि वो बारिश करवा सकते थे और अपने ही राग से दीपक भी जला सकते थे, ओके. दिस वाज समथिंग द क्वालिटी, ओके. अगर हम इन लोगों की बात करें तो इसमें वी कैन नॉट फॉरगेट जाकिर हुसैन एज वेल, ओके. जिसमें टाटा टी का अगर आप देखें या तो आपको ब्रुक बॉन्ड या फिर टाटा की जो भी एड्स होते हैं टाटा चाय पत्ती की टी लीव्स का, so he is also one of the maker of that ad, or he used to present one of the famous composer as well. He is also one of the famous musician, that is your Zakir Hussain, okay. If we move ahead with the next one, that is our national sports, okay. So first we have to identify that match the names of these countries with the sports they are known for and by writing the correct letters in the boxes, okay. So the very first one is your USA, okay. This is the flag of USA. Next we have third here, that is D part. Baseball is the famous sport for which USA is known, okay. Next is your China. So China is basically known for your table tennis. Sorry, yes, table tennis only. Okay. Next is Spain. Spain is known for football. United Kingdom, that is your F, that is your cricket. South Korea, C, that is taekwondo. Japan, that is your B, that is sumo. Okay, a kind of wrestling only. Next, moving to the fact file. A country may have more than one national sport. For example, Canada has two national sports. Ice hockey is Canada's winter national sport and lacrosse is its summer national sport. Is it clear? So Subliquids of sports stars, that is, identify the nicknames of these famous sport stars and write them in the blanks. Choose your answers from the help box. Okay. So here we have Steffi Graf, that is Fraulein forehand. Okay. Next is your Milkha Singh, flying sick because he used to run very fast. Rahul Dravid, the wall, because he is the person, मतलब ये आप कह सकते हो कि जोक में भी इस चीज़ को कहा जाता था कि शोएब अख्तर जब बॉलिंग करने आता था तो ही यूज्ड टू टेक द रन अप, मतलब वो अराउंड बाउंड्री के पास से वो दौड़ करके आता था अपना रन अप ले करके. एंड व्हेन ही यूज्ड टू थ्रो द बॉल और व्हेन ही यूज्ड टू डू द बॉलिंग, सो दिस प्लेयर, that is Rahul Dravid, he just have to defend it. Okay, he just has to defend it, no shots, nothing else. Okay, so as a result of which he used to get frustrated, that is Shoaib Akhtar. एंड ये जल्दी विकेट नहीं गिरता था, मतलब हम ये कह सकते हैं अगर राहुल द्रविड़ आ गए, रन बने न बने उससे नहीं मतलब है, लेकिन इनको जल्दी कोई आउट नहीं कर सकता था. सो दैट इज व्हाई ही वाज नोन एज द वॉल. एंड नथिंग टू से, लेकिन थोड़ा सा क्या काफ़ी बोरिंग लगता था जब बचपन में मैंने भी मैचेस देखे हैं, तो दैट इज़ व्हेन ही यूज्ड टू कम. सो अरे अब तो ये मतलब न मारेगा ही और ना ही आउट होगा. ठीक है, तो दिस वाज द काइंड ऑफ सिनेरियो, दैट इज़ व्हाई ही वाज नोन एज द वॉल. ओके, एलन डोनाल्ड, दैट इज़ द वाइट लाइटनिंग just because of his appearance or something. Kapil Dev, Haryana Hurricane. Okay, Cope Brand, that is the Black Mamba, just I hope due to the color. Next is Muhammad Ali, the greatest. Next is the Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear, just because of his hair. Okay, moving ahead to the fact file, we have Vishwanathan Anand, a renowned chess player, was the youngest Indian to become international master and was nicknamed the Lightning Kid. Okay, but if you would have seen the last few days reports in the newspapers, he is continuously facing, or he is not able to win the game just because of one of the famous players. I don't remember his name. 3 to 4 games are there, that is continuous games, he is not able to win. Okay, this is a matter of concern for him. Okay, moving ahead with the next one, that is Indian women in sports. Now see, as all of us we know that Indian women are no longer behind us. Okay, if you remember this lady, okay, she is none other than PV Sindhu. Okay, well known for your badminton. You have studied about her in the last class as well, in class 6th as well. Okay, starting with the this one, I hope you very well identify this lady, that is she is no other than Sania Mirza. Okay, so she is also related to tennis only. Next is your Deepa Karmakar, who is related to gymnastic. This we have already discussed. PV Sindhu related to badminton. She is Sakshi Malik, if you remember. So she was related to wrestling. Okay, she is your Saina Nehwal. Okay, related to badminton only, I hope. Right. And she is your Mary Kom. Okay, MC Mary Kom, related to boxing. She is your famous cricketer, I hope the captain, what is that, Jhulan Goswami. Okay, related to cricket. She is your Hina Sidhu, related to shooting. And she is your Deepika Pallikal related to squash. Okay, so the thing is that why let us discuss first about them. Indian women in sports earlier, or basically today also. Okay, let me first have a look over the time. Okay, not only today, that is earlier also and today also, women's used to face a lot of exploitation, okay, a lot of restrictions, either from the uh, locality, our sociality, or from our parents, or even peoples also. Okay, so basically all these restrictions, or in spite of all these restrictions, these ladies, they have proved themselves that they are no less than male counterpart. If you very recently remember, the lady who has become the IS officer, if you remember, she was doing modeling, but recently she became the IS officer by leaving her modeling career and preparing for IS just for 10 months. Okay, and her name was Aishwarya Sharan. Okay, she was the lady who was in that is your she was doing the modeling, but she left it in the middle, and thereafter she joined she started preparing, and finally she got selected. Okay, so these are the things that Rani Lakshmi Bai from the earlier times. Okay, it is not like this that they are less than male parts or less than anyone. Okay, it is just thing that if you have decided, nobody can stop you from doing anything. Okay, so now if we move ahead, so we have discussed the bookish part. So now it is time for us to go for the current affairs. So let us have the look over the current affairs, and thereafter we will be going ahead. Okay, India, Japan and Australia to launch supply chain resilience initiative to counter China. Now what is the meaning and what it is about? Okay, now see, each and every country, that is starting from India, other countries are also boycotting China as well as their products. मतलब हम लोग Chinese product का क्या कर रहे हैं, बहिष्कार कर रहे हैं, लेने से मना कर रहे हैं. And if you would have gone through the newspapers last weeks or last few weeks, you would have observed that most of the railway contracts or any other products contracts, the road construction contracts, the metro contracts, they all have been cancelled, as a result of which Japan has initiated this process, and India and Australia have joined or made in hands with Japan for supply chain resilience initiative. Is that clear? So this is what that is. यूज तो हम बंद नहीं करेंगे, ठीक है. अगर चाइना में मोबाइल नहीं बनेगा तो कहीं और बनेगा, लेकिन मोबाइल यूज करना तो हम नहीं बंद कर सकते हैं. So that is why we are just searching for some kind of alternatives so that our dependency is not there. That is, हम किसी के ऊपर dependent न रहें, हमारा काम न रुके. Is that clear? Moving ahead with the next one, that is India attends AINTT, that is your Asian India network of think tanks. Okay, this was there on August 2020. The External Affairs Minister, that is your S. Jaishankar, attended the Asian Network of Think Tanks, and this was the 6th Roundtable Conference. 6th Roundtable Conference means what? That is 5 बार हो चुका है, and now this was the 6th one. Okay, between India and AINTT. Here also the basic concern was to ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन्स, दैट इज़ कैसे हम चीज़ों को सप्लाई करें या फिर हमें चीज़ें मिल जाएं जिससे हमारा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, प्रोडक्शन और ये सारी चीज़ें अफेक्ट ना हो. इज दैट क्लियर? मूविंग अहेड टू द नेक्स्ट वन, दैट इज़ योर स्वच्छ सर्वेक्षण 2020. Okay, if we see in this case, so here just have a reading of this, then I'll be explaining you. Please have a reading. So in this case, it is telling us that recently a survey was done, and again for the fourth consecutive time, मतलब चौथी बार लगातार Indore, Madhya Pradesh, they have bagged the cleanest city in the country. Okay, country. It was followed by Surat of Gujarat and Navi Mumbai of Maharashtra. Okay, entire country, the Indore and Madhya Pradesh, they were the cleanest. Mysore, cleanest city in India, and Varanasi, the best Ganga town in the survey. And this survey was held by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Okay, India attends the World Conference of Speakers of Parliament. Okay, if you remember, Om Birla is the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Okay, in the same way, just like we have the speakers, the different countries, other countries also, they have the speakers, and this was the conference or the meetings on these speakers only. Okay, they were the meeting, the basic idea or the basic motto of the meeting was that अगर आप कभी भी न्यूज़ चैनल्स पे जाएंगे और इन राज्यसभा या लोकसभा की आप देखेंगे आप उसे, तो what you will find is that mostly you will find that people keep on quarreling among themselves, or they keep on putting allegations, or they keep on just asking some or the other questions in a very different tone. Okay, so here in the houses, whether it is Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, both the ruling party and the oppositions, that is जो government में है भी, just like BJP is there, and oppositions, that is BSP, Congress and other parties, they will also be present in that Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. But questions will be asked, और वो questions पूछते पूछते लड़ाई करने लगते हैं, मतलब allegations लगाते लगाते लड़ाई करने लगते हैं, एक दूसरे की खाली कमियां निकालते रहते हैं. So the speaker plays a role here to maintain peace and at the same time maintain the decorum of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so this was how, that is how leadership for the more effective multilateralism that delivers peace. Last, National Commission on Population, India's population to be more feminine in 2036. What is the meaning here? अभी जो इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन है, in that case the number of females is much less as compared to the number of males, but in 2036 the number of females is going to improve by a much more concern as compared to today's scenario. Is that clear? So this was all for today. Okay, I hope you would have liked the class. Okay, don't forget to ask your queries. Already we have exceeded the time limit. I'm really sorry for that. Okay, so please till the next class, stay safe and stay healthy, and please don't forget to ask your doubts today in the query session. Is that clear? Thanks a lot for being with me. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.